The Clergy Patrol is where pastors in the city of Norfolk are partnering with the Norfolk Police Department and doing ride-alongs on Friday and Saturday nights. I am Dr. Antipas Harris. I'm the founder and dean of the Urban Renewal Center, which is a partnership with the First Presbyterian Church of Norfolk.
Norfolk is a very vibrant city, a very diverse city, a lot going on, particularly downtown. Downtown is thriving, particularly on the weekends. We have the world's largest naval base, which is significant. We have a very good working relationship with our military personnel. I am Larry Boone. I happen to be the chief of police here in the city of Norfolk. I was thinking when I became chief, what could I do to bridge the gap? The idea behind this is, particularly in Norfolk, we have some communities where there's an issue with trust with the police, but in most of our fragile communities, particularly the African American communities, there's never been an issue with clergy. So what better way to close that gap than police and clergy?
So this idea of connecting with the community spirituality in moments of challenge, I think is very key, and it's an opportunity for the church to reconnect with the spirituality that's outside of the church. When this chief took the role of chief, he thought it'd be a great idea to start in a proactive way, building those relationships. In his words, pastors have a lot of power. So, of course, you can see that. We have a lot of influence in our congregation, and oftentimes when there are situations in the community, whether the shootings or gang violence or some casualties, if we call a prayer meeting or a meeting, we tend to get a lot of people to show up.
I wanted them to have an opportunity to see up close and personal what it's like from our lens, the police officer's lens, to deal with the community.
My experience has been extraordinary. We've had opportunities to build relationship with the police, which is, I think, a valuable partnership, but also as we encounter situations, whether they are domestic disputes or stabbings or shootings or standoffs, we're right there. And many times we're able to offer services to mediate conflict or to de-escalate situations, which, of course, in these days and time, when there's so much faction between the police and the community, particularly in inner cities, our work, I think, has proven to be valuable, and the citizens always respond very positively.
Community engagement is very important with Norfolk Police, and here's why. If you look back 3 or 4 years ago across the country, the national optic was Ferguson, New York City, Baltimore, some of the things that were occurring across the country. We were ahead of that, okay, because we knew it was important. In order for us to be effective, we have to build authentic relationships. And I'm not talking about the political correctness type of officer friendly. I'm talking about relationships that touch your heart, your soul, and your spirit. Just
recently, this weekend, I was out there, and a mother called the police on her 17-year-old son. And when I got there, there were several police there. And there was a little bit of defensiveness and not feeling as if they were going to be protected. And I walked up to the young man and I said, I'm a pastor working with the police. I want to make sure that you are protected and that they are protected. And so we want to make sure we understand what's going on here and see if we can settle the situation the best way we can. And it was this sense of, oh, I appreciate it. And in fact, he said that, oh, I appreciate it. I think the community calls upon the pastors because that's the way God intends it. God intends for pastors not only to be inward looking, but also outward looking. And so particularly in the inner cities, there are churches everywhere. And there's been a lot of concern as to where the church stands in light of a lot of social issues. And so the Clergy Patrol allows us the opportunity to be fully present and bear witness in the public square. The benefit is that the church is then seen as a church that's not only looking inwardly, but looking outwardly. It's a profound opportunity to bear witness in all types of situations, and also to build a rapport with the police department.
The feedback that I've received, particularly from the clergy, they had no idea what police people go through. They had no idea until you actually sat in that car and listened to the radio, go to the scene, see some of the victims, see some of the citizens that may be in a crisis. You know, it's refreshing to them. It gives them an opportunity to do some heavy lifting that they didn't know exist. And for us, we are thankful that they are extending their time outside of their normal work schedule so they can get a full appreciation of what we do. So it's been a win-win for everybody, the citizens of Norfolk, the police department, or certainly the Clergy Patrol.
We particularly need more pastors to get involved. One, because of leadership. Our community needs leadership that's visible in the community, not simply in the church. Two, I think that because pastors have a presence and it calms the situation for a pastor to be present.
At the end of the day, the program was built to influence and make better partnerships and relationships with the citizens of Norfolk.